Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your host, Chris Flowers of Here's the Deal, and I'm excited to have on another personal friend of mine, Jeanine Jerkovic, who is the Economic Development Director for the City of Surprise. Like I said, not too often I get to talk to her anymore because she's so busy handling the business of the City of Surprise, but glad to have her on. But first, of course, as always, we want to start the show off with by introducing our sponsors of Litchfield Auto. Like I said, Phil has been a friend of mine for well over 10 years now. Like I said, I highly recommend Litchfield Auto to anybody, family, friends. I've referred many people there, and I will always refer people there because there's at least one fair and honest mechanic out there, and that is Litchfield Auto. They're located at 671 North 173rd Avenue in Goodyear, and their phone number is 623-882-8700. Doesn't matter if you have a BMW or a Nissan, anything between, they can keep that thing on the road best they can. So I'm gonna have a Jeanine Turner camera on. I'm gonna get her started here. There she is, looking fabulous as always.
Happy Friday.
How you doing? Happy Friday.
Yeah, I'm doing spectacular. I work in a city called Surprise. How can it be bad?
How bad can it really be, right?
Hey.
Oh, so Jeanine, we've known each other for what, 15 plus years, easy, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe even longer, but yeah, I
might be
mean,
closer to 20. I mean, we've known each other a long time.
for sure.
So yeah, so like I said, they, but it's so cool because like I said, I've known Jeanine for so many years, but she's just who she is, and she's just great. Doesn't matter her, you know, who she or economic development director of the city of Surprise, but she answers my calls whenever I call her, which is great. So that's what I love about her. But why don't you go ahead and tell us exactly what economic development does for the municipalities? Like, what is your department function?
Question. A lot of people think we're economists. We're really not. And you may see us out there doing crazy videos, like hosting a kale emergency in the city for April Fool's Day to attract a Whole Foods, or celebrating Meatball Day to attract an IKEA. But I mean, when it comes down to it, most economic development departments are there to make sure that their economy and their market is healthy. And they do that by doing initiatives, doing things that enhance the quality of life. We attract new business to the city where appropriate. We try to influence business decisions. We do our best to support our small business community and businesses that grow. So we're always trying to enhance the general revenue fund of our community, and that's where retail comes in. We're always doing things to grow jobs in our city. So we have to know a lot about the workforce and support the workforce where necessary. And we're always trying to just help the quality of life. And surprise, like for example, we've attracted a university about 6 or 7 years ago, just to make sure that all those little kids that were being born 10 years ago, have a place to go to college now. So
That's Ottawa University, right?
Ottawa University. It's
Mhm.
located right here in downtown Surprise. We're growing a new downtown. Ottawa University now has about 1,000 students living here on campus. And their home campus, I think it might be even a bigger population or bigger than their main campus in Ottawa, Kansas.
Cool, right on. So, I mean, does economic development only help like Costco's and Home Depots and IKEA's? I mean, what does economic development do for the small business community?
You're right. I think the perception is all you do is help those big businesses. All you do is help the chains or, that kind of thing. But we're really here to help every business. And there's so much to do to help our small business community. And it really doesn't get sometimes the jazz hands that a Costco when it opens gets. So it's tricky, and that perception is out there. But small businesses need a lot of support, and they're at a different, as you know, I mean, they a lot of times need the resources, the financing to grow appropriately, but more importantly, they need a plan. They need to understand the market. They need to understand a lot of different things and meet the right connections. So our department, I mean, we've had a business incubation program for over 15 years
Mhm.
in our community called the AZ Tech Accelerator.
Mhm.
We're looking to fine tune that and improve it. It's been for 15 years. It's been sort of a beacon where businesses can come and just come to a class and learn the ABCs of business from a partner or from our staff. get introduced to a marketing mentor, a financial mentor, an accountant, and ultimately figure out how they can grow. So on our website, we're a member of a group called Size Up. So if a small business wants to have the analytic horsepower of a big business and really understand, is there a market at this corner where I am, or where I want to be? Is there a market need? Size Up can help them with that. We also have a heart for, I have to share this. We, a few years ago, put out a children's book, the Surprisenstein Bears, but really it's a story about a little family that wants to start a bakery in our city. So it gives you kind of that step-by-step guide. So whether, you're a first-time startup, ages 6 to 60, right? You can come to me, come to anybody in our city, come to Brian Sandusky, who just joined our team, to help our small business growth. We're connectors, and we know it's. And I always wondered why a lot of cities aren't a little more aggressive when it comes to small businesses. In my opinion, they are the most fun. I mean, it
Hmm.
really is, because you feel like you're on a journey. Everybody's humble, everybody's figuring it out. You're kind of learning together sometimes. And I realize, I think, getting the big wins, I mean, there's a lot of political wins there. The public is happy. And small businesses are a lot of work. I mean, they really are. So I think a lot of cities, if they don't directly through their economic development department serve a small business, or interact with small business, they'll outsource it maybe to a small business development center, or the Better Business Bureau, or the Arizona Small Business Association. There are a lot of tools out there, but yeah, so there are reasons why every city isn't, you know, gangbusters on small business services, because it's hard, it's time
Hmm.
consuming, it's hard. We know that, but we like to insource that, so we do a lot of support from our department, but every department runs it a little differently.
Okay, so what resources do you provide for those existing people? Because you've had people that have had businesses in Surprise for years, and through
Yeah.
the economic ups and downs, and they stayed in Surprise. Like they could have moved elsewhere, but they stayed there in your city. So, what is it you can provide for them, or somebody who wants to start a business in Surprise? Maybe like I said, because everybody's like, oh, run over to Scottsdale. It's like, why? You have all the resources here. So tell us what those resources are that you provide for those small businesses that either are existing, or why would they want to move there?
Love it. Well, and I would say we listen a lot. So our business retention professional knocks on about 40 to 50 business doors every month, and asks them if they need support, asks them, if they've got any milestones. We love to do a lot of social media. We have a show called Snacks with Surprise. You've been on it.
Yes, I
Um,
have.
and we fine tune it to really, promote the businesses. But a few years ago, what we found, what was really important, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, just as the 2020 stuff was happening, we figured out pretty quickly that through the comments we were getting, that the business community isn't always aware of our local assets,
Hmm.
our local restaurants, our local businesses. So we call out our local restaurants in a list when they say there's nowhere local in our city. Well, we're able to produce a list. Here's 60. We have a lot of local businesses
Hmm.
in our city. We know it's challenging. It's because a lot of our small businesses that want to grow or maybe expand, real estate is an issue right now. Our vacancy rate in Surprise is about 1.2%,
Hmm.
which is unheard of. Usually about 5 or 6% is getting a little low, but so we're well below low. So what we'd like to do is really help any existing business through promotion, through I talked about Snacks with Surprise, but really putting roundtables together. We love getting our 4 times a year. We host roundtables with our business community, and make sure that they're aware that they can come to us if they need a little support in marketing, if they need a little more support, if they need to expand their business, if they need some capital, that we know people. we can put them in touch with people like you, people like Score. Um, and I always say most of the time when they come to us, they they don't understand that usually it's because they don't have the signage that they want. And I would say signage is so interesting. You definitely need a sign, but a sign can't be your marketing strategy. I
Mhm.
usually a lot of businesses, every business should be really paying attention to how your modern customer is receiving information. So, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, for example, we were cold calling a lot of businesses, and especially our small business community did not, I would say at least half of them did not have an ability to do online ordering. So we learned that there were lots of services out there. A lot were pricey or had a cost. We were able to identify 2 or 3 no-cost options that they could quickly implement on their website. But it's just things like that. We just try to listen and pay attention to, you know, maybe when they're saying, we're having a problem with our signage. We know it could be indicative of something else. So it's a lot of time intense dialogue one-on-one, and we know a lot of small businesses are just busy running their business. They're not necessarily going to come knocking on our doors. We try to knock on their doors as much as possible.
Yeah, it's good to be proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah.
But like, give us maybe like the top 5 things that you can provide for a local business owner, maybe that they're not aware of. Okay, give like break it down, like give me like five your top 5 list of different things that you can do for your local established businesses that are out there right now.
So I would say networking and gathering opportunities. I would say business education, mentors. We can give you connections that and I would say overall connections, not just mentors, but connections in sectors like banking, in construction, in contracting, in real estate that you need. And then I would say analytics. I think those are really the kind of the top 5 tools that come to my mind,
Mhm.
um, beyond helping you promote yourself, helping you if you need a lot of times, you know what, I'm going to put a 6 in there. I'm going to sneak one
Sure.
in. Every business, from the big one to the small business, they need help with community engagement. And our city is fantastic at community engagement. We have probably no fewer than a dozen great community events. We do quarterly, we do job fairs. So even if you're a small business and you're just hiring a couple of people, it's a great way to just get your name out there. Or that we've got a job posting website that gets a lot of views and it's free. So we're offering businesses a lot of free resources, and they don't have to necessarily worry about anything costing a lot of money or really figuring out what works and what doesn't work. There's a great peer network here that can help them with that, and we can help them with that wayfinding.
Okay, that's great. Like I said that I want to make sure that people understand what the city's willing to do and what the city has in place, so that way they can know that they can, grow their business in the city of Surprise. So, well, because like I said, I don't think a lot of people are aware of everything that you guys have going on, and I wanted to make sure that we got that message out there. So, what is your what would you say your vision for the city of Surprises as far as, you know, bringing jobs into the city and, things like that? What's your plan? Like what's your focus and what is it that you're implementing now? As far as that goes?
Well, that's a great question. I just love this community. I love everything about it. It's new, it's safe, it's clean, and it has I would say, a real small town feel with all of the big town amenities. And we know that we're going to grow. We know that we're continuing to grow. We add about 5 to 6,000 people to our market every year.
Mhm.
So the growth is staggering. So my intent, so high level goal, is to work really, really hard to make sure that even as we grow, we sort of keep that small town character as much as we can. And a lot of that comes with just being obsessed with the look and feel and cleanliness and safety of your community, and I work really closely with other departments to just know what's going on where, and just make sure everything we deliver has a lot of quality to it, and a lot, and thinks about things like, is there adequate lighting? Is do we need to think about an arts element to a specific corner? And we're working on a downtown, for example, and that's because we're the biggest downtown I'm aware of without a downtown. you
Hmm.
know we don't, so we get to engineer that, we get to put something together where everybody can gather and feel proud of their community. So I think my vision is to a high level to make this the kind of the biggest small town that really no one has to leave to have a quality of life. So part of that is we've got to eventually, and I know the market is a little bit unpredictable at the moment when it comes to
Hmm.
office in particular, but we've got to turn a corner on the office market. This is a white collar off half of our workforce in our market, more than I've ever seen, is the office workforce. It
Hmm.
just is. So over since 2020, our market, we've added so many people to our market. We were about 2020, we were about 143,000 people, and we just hit about 170,000 people.
Wow.
And since 2020, our median household income went from $65,000, which it had been kind of forever and ever, to almost $97,000 per household. And our age went from about 41 years old to 38, and it's continuing to drop.
Hmm.
So those are really telling signs. I mean, we saw a lot of retail behaviors, 2020 and beyond. Um, the signals are there that this is a market that's ready to have, I'll say, a financial services, insurance, healthcare, administrative, managerial, operational economy. We've been great at building a lot of brick and mortar, small business, manufacturing, industrial businesses. We've been killing it on retail, but I think we're ready to turn a corner. And I'd love to see in about 3 to 5 years. I'd love us to be in the center of more development from an office campus perspective. I just saw a report that said those $100,000 and plus jobs, those are more and more, those are demanded in the office. So that market that kind of went to the beautiful suburbs of Surprise post
Hmm.
2020, they're going to have to go back to office, and we want them to be in the office in Surprise.
Okay, that sounds good. Like I said, I like your vision.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
what is it? Is there anything, maybe like I said, we haven't covered? Is there anything that you have on your to-do list? Or is there anything, like I said, well, again, to give the people the information, say, hey, here, the city surprise is here for you, and we're here for you. So tell us a little more, what is it, maybe something that you want to cover that we haven't covered yet?
talking about right now. And I just mentioned the downtown. I mean, we've got a lot going on. We've had two hospitals announced. I mean, there are really good signs that this is, that the economy is shaping up in suburb of Surprise. What I think is really fun is thinking about ways that in the future that we can better engage our population, and that we can better market our community. So we've been just the recipient, as of about 4 or 5 months ago, we were the recipient of an ASU Cox Communications grant to put our downtown in the kind of in the metaverse, but it created a digital twin of our downtown. And we're having such a great time. And this is a great big step for our community to talk about marketing a downtown digitally. And basically what a digital twin is, it's kind of a computer 3D rendering of
Hmm.
a location. And a lot of cities are using this for urban planning, looking at traffic, looking at it's a model, kind of an interactive model of a city or an area. And so you can kind of see how, let's say, your solar is impacted if you put a building next to another building or something like that. We're, as far as I know, one of the first communities to look at this application for economic development purposes. and marketing. So we want anyone anywhere in the world to be able to get excited about surprises downtown. And more importantly, we want our residents have been always key to my team's marketing strategy. We want our residents to be able to know what's going on in the downtown at any given time, and to be able to see what businesses are there and maybe even apply for a job in the metaverse. I mean, I think that's an exciting future. I'd love to see our future, us be a little more digitally proficient. And I thought this was really avant-garde, but I met with a group from Sweden this week, and they're called the City of Trollhättan. And they've already done this in their entire city. I mean, they are like Star Trek compared to us. So, but it's so great to have other cities that we can learn from, and they're doing it from more of an urban planning perspective. When a building comes in for development or something, their residents are able to weigh in on, and look at that building in the digital space, and really make an informed decision about how traffic will flow and that kind of thing. I'd love to get there, but I think we're probably gonna take another few years to get there. But in the meantime, I'm excited to tell you, Surprise is going into the metaverse.
That's cool. So, and so you said you keep mentioning the downtown city of surprise. What is the downtown city of surprise?
Yeah. So years and years ago, the a landowner, through kind of a creative sale from the city of Phoenix, purchased some land, like more than a square mile, that is at Bell Road. Let's just say Bell Road in Litchfield. So on the southwest corner of Bell Road in Litchfield, there's this area. If you know where Surprise Spring Training is,
Mhm.
Spring Training, I mean, people don't think about this, but those spring training facilities really kicked off a lot of excitement about this area. And over a decade after that, the city invested probably over $300 million putting in libraries, park amenities, an urban fishing lake, tennis courts, building a new city hall, police and fire building, and all that, right in the center of the property. And we've had some stops and starts. We had a little recession. We had
Little.
COVID. I mean, my gosh. But we've had restaurants pop up. And now we're finally through a partnership with Simon CRE, our landowners and partners at Surprise Center Development Company, are kicking off a really cool retail corridor right off of Bullard, right kind of in the middle of right between spring training and City Hall, if that makes sense, and our
Mhm.
city complex, where Ottawa University is growing and all that. They're kicking off a corridor. The city invested in a corridor called the Elm Street at City Center, retail corridor.
Mhm.
So it'll have restaurants that are new to Arizona or exclusive to Arizona. So a concept out of San Diego, for example, called Better Buzz Coffee, a lot of people are excited about, is under construction. Osteria Mia, from Mario Rana and the Rana family, who started State 48 Brewery.
Mhm.
So there's these great little concepts that are popping up there. First phase is about 80,000 square feet. There'll probably be close to 7 or 8 phases when it's all built out, but it's all along an area called Elm Street. And the city invested in Elm Street. We think the Bullard corridor and Elm Street represent a really walkable opportunity to grow a downtown. So much to see, much to watch for, and everything's under construction. So if you come out to Surprise, you probably won't even recognize some areas of the emerging downtown.
Mhm. And it's spring training for the world champion Texas Rangers.
That's right. That's right. I
And
heard,
who else is training over there other than
oh,
Texas Rangers?
the Kansas City Royals.
Kansas City Royals. There you go.
Oh,
See,
yeah. And our visitors were about 20% up, I heard this year, just because of the Rangers.
yeah. Well, as I said, they're world champions. Unfortunately, they beat the Diamondbacks, but yeah, hey, what are you gonna do?
I know we were all rooting for the Diamondbacks, but the fact that the Rangers come and train in Arizona and come to Surprise, You know, economically speaking, it was a win-win.
Yeah. Well, hey, like I said, there's hopefully there to be this year, but
Yeah,
yeah, okay. So again, just like I said, I wanted to thank you once again for coming on, sharing your expertise, sharing your passion for the city of Surprise and for small business. Like I know how passionate you are about small business. We've known each other a long time, but I want people to understand what the city of Surprise is doing, what the leadership, Skip Hall, the mayor, and everybody over there is just what you guys are really focused on. It's not just the big box stores. Yeah, everybody wants, the huge businesses, but you're really there for the smaller businesses. And I want to make sure that message got out there because I know you guys are really passionate about it. So thank you once again for making time and coming on and being with us. And like I said, hopefully we get to do snacks and surprise for you again pretty soon. That'd be pretty cool. And we'll get to do a lot more.
let's do it. Let's do a part two.
Hey, I'm ready. Let's say we can, and if you got anything coming on, with the city surprise, you want to like, get back on the show, like I said, I'm always happy to have you on. You always have an open door
Thank you
anytime.
so much, Chris. It's always so much fun to see you.
And you too. It's like I said, it's been too long, but like I said, we're gonna wrap this thing up here. So again, Jeanine Jerkovic, the economic developer for the City of Prize. If you have any questions about your business, or if you want to talk about moving your business to the City of Prize, this is the lady that you need to talk to. So once again, thank you very much. Like I said, we're gonna start wrapping up the show here, and thanks again for coming on, Jeanine.
Thank you. Good to see you.
All right, good to see you again. And as always, in closing, for the show, I just wanted to first of all say thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving me the ability to not only have eternal salvation thanks to the sacrifice, but also the ability to do the show, and of course to my family who supports me in doing the show, and then of course all to the subscribers and the listeners of the show. Like feel without you, like I said, we wouldn't be here. So thank you very much. So and to our sponsors as well. So once again, Chris Flowers, host of Here's the Deal, and we're out.